going. Believe it or not, I have too many projects going. So I am going to be lettering while I stream for a bit here because I am way behind on this. And I want to make sure I catch up a little bit on my Clockwork Dancer project. How do I open this? There we go. I like that better. And you can watch me letter. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit. This isn't as fun as like those like art streams where like those artists and all that, you know, they draw and everything like that. But this is the best I can do. I can't really write and talk at the same time because there's a lot of thought that has to go into writing. But for lettering, I think I can do it just a little bit. So this is Clockwork Dancer. I've showed you guys this before. Let's make this bold. And I'm on page 10 right now. So I'm about a little less than halfway through the first issue. And I'm going to be trying to get at least through page 11 done. I might get through page 12 done today. My artist is already 4 pages into drawing issue 2. So I'm like, geez, I better get to lettering real quick and make this happen. On the comic end, I think I've got a lot going on. So I just put out Dynamite Thor number 2 to Patreon subscribers, which I should pull up a little preview of for you guys real quick. So if you're not subscribed to my Patreon, I think that's lame, to be honest. It's kind of my preferred way of people supporting because I've got it's just nice to have a subscription sort of model where I've got comics coming out every month and stories coming out every month. And whenever I finish my novels, I put those out on there first before I do all these things also. By the way, hit that like and subscribe button. Do the boom, 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 boom. Like, leave comments, get the algorithm going so people show up. You know the drill. Let me see if I can pull up my Dynamite Thor. Whatchamacallit today? Let me see. How am I doing this? Stop screen. Here we go. All right, so I'll share this. This is going to be the first couple pages of Dynamite Thor. I just got this back. I'm not lettering this one myself, but James Reed did this one for me. He just got it back to me, and it picks up kind of where Dynamite Thor number 1 left off. Allah Akbar. And we get a nice we start off with a terrorist bombing. So that's the way that these should go. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So this wraps up Dynamite Thor. So the plan for Dynamite Thor is I've got a 2-issue series. The artist had other commitments, so he couldn't go to a third. You know how I like to do 3 per volume if you followed me around at this point. So we're going to have 2 because that's what we ended up with. Story ends pretty nicely here, so it works out well. I wrote these very much as single issues because I wasn't even sure I was going to do more than 1 when I started. But I was going to have an arc that translated into a 3rd issue, which I'm not going to do now because the artist is gone, at least for now. Maybe we can get him to do another later. But yeah, it opens up some school kids playing in Iraq, but this man will have none of it. And we have some interesting designs. We have a Nazi armband style, but with the whole crescent and all that. And those are a running theme of our bad guys throughout the 2 issues that you might notice. He just got his very expressive faces, which is very fun. The artist is Donald Kent, and I was very inspired. Here's another little throwback. I was very inspired by the old 60s comics because what happened is around, I guess, 1964, 1965, Stan Lee actually changed his credits. I'm sorry, I got this this deal going on. He changed his credits so it didn't just say writer, artist, colors, letters, like every other book did. His credits did like I did here, where they just put silly things like delirious dialogue accelerationist art, courageous colors, and lustful letters. And they would change it up every book like that for a while. There's a period where they really were changing things up every single book. Very funny, at least to me, especially when you're reading them in sequence. So I wanted to, you know, as I'm reading those, I wanted to give a little homage to that for this book. So that is going to be Dynamite Thor. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you already have this. So the plan is going to be to kickstart this. Probably it's done, so I could just do this whenever. I'm gonna kickstart this in February, probably early February. That's when I'll start. But if you're a Patreon subscriber, you already have the story here. It's gonna be 2 issues, total of 46 pages of story. There will be 2 interior covers, bringing it to 48 pages, and then there is I'm gonna have a stretch goal of a bonus short story that we'll tack on to it if we get there. So that will be the plan, and it'll be a little fun. I'll put this a little cheaper than my Flying Sparks books. Sorry, I've got this like thing going on with my throat. I'll put it a little cheaper than my Flying Sparks books, which I typically do Flying Sparks at $25 plus $10 for shipping, just to make sure I cover everything with like, you know, all the fees and my fulfillment group and all that. On that, I'm gonna try to do like $20 plus $5 shipping maybe on this to make it a little easier on everybody, since it's a little bit shorter of content, and also in hopes that more people will check it out. Because I have a feeling that if this is wildly successful, I'll be able to get the artist back to do another one of these, which is what you've already read it, Bruce. What did you think? Oh man, I almost want to have you on the show to ask what you thought. That's awesome. I'm glad you already read it. So this is Dynamite Thor. We'll see what Bruce thinks of Dynamite Thor in just a second here, assuming he's still in the chat. But this is what I put out to Patreon subscribers. So if you're missing out on that, I have these. My long form comics right now are not going to be exclusive, so they will be out on Kickstarter and things like that. But as of right now, I'm also producing short comics, of which I started last month, where I'm putting 1 per month up, just little small concept pieces and things like that. And those I don't have plans to release yet, because I'm not even sure how I would release those. So if you really like comic content, then definitely this is a good spot for you. I've tried, oh man, I'm just a disaster today. I've tried to come out with a new short story on the prose end every month for subscribers too. So I feel like I give pretty good value compared to a lot of other Patreons out there. So that's that. And let me get back to lettering. All right, that's Dynamite Thor. Let me get back to lettering here. So I'm probably going to just letter a couple pages, then bug out of here, because I got a lot to do today. I've not only got this, I've got to finish up my Stars Entwined sequel book, which I'm going to try to wrap up in the next week or so. I've got a side project where I've got together with like a few authors. It's got John Mollison, Brian Niemeyer, Misha Burnett, I think Raul Nyanzi, and a couple other people. And we're doing like a round, and we're writing, 1,000 words at a time. And I'm up on this, and I'm behind, so I've not done mine yet. Where's my symbols? I haven't done this in so long, I forgot where I put everything. I have symbols somewhere. There's my symbols. Okay, my symbols are my saved little tails, so I don't have to keep reinventing the wheel on these. Makes it a lot easier to keep lettering. I'll point this at the mouth. And I don't like how that, there we go. Excellent. This is going to be a pretty simple page to get done, thankfully, which means I can move right along. And I think, where's my combine button? Is that this? Pathfinder, there we are. Whoops, that looks like I made a mistake, but the only mistake I made was putting this on the wrong layer. So I'll put it there, and then I'll come back, and there is my balloon, handy dandy balloon. The view from up here is incredible. I bet it is. I love this image. This is the splash page. I try to do one splash page, sometimes two per issue, but I try to limit them. I just love seeing all of our cool mechanical stuff on here. So we'll save this, and we will print a TIF file so that we can have this done and ready to go for print. And that's page 10. Let's see, is there any particular fonts you like, ones you don't like? Different fonts for different lettering purposes. Definitely different fonts for different lettering purposes. I'll open up page 9, kind of show you. I used a few fonts on page 9 that I don't know why this pops up. I don't think there are any Myriad Romans here on the page, but I've got a font here for the credits, which is creator credits. I've got back issues for my lettering. I've got whatever this is. I transform these into shapes so that they are different, and I actually stretch some of these. They don't actually look like that, whatever font that is. I used another different font here, and this is the same font as this one. So I used, I guess, 4 fonts on this page. But I wanted the WOMP to be a little more pillowy. You see how the letters are pillowy? And I wanted the bangs to be a little more metallic and like hard on the edges. So, and the tings, same thing. So these fit just for, you know, the sound purposes that they make in terms of what they look like. And this is a pretty just clean font for putting up the dialogue of what's going on there. So those are the fonts I'm using at the moment. And what I do is I save all this. I'm so sick of that. I don't know what's going on with that. As a single file, and then I go to the go to the art page, and let's pull this up. Properties. Okay, so here's the property. You go to linked file, and look at this. So I'm on page 11 now, and obviously this is not page 11, or this is page 9, as we just showed. So I can go in and go into my colors folder, grab page 11. Why is that not working? There we go. And I just replaced the art that's already set there, so it makes it very easily. And I think I will, I don't think I need these. Ooh, what's going on here? Okay, cool. I just hadn't refreshed yet. So I don't need these here. We'll get rid of these. I don't know what this is. And then I have a very easy page to start the lettering from that's already pre-set up for me. All right, so page 11, I think, there we go. I don't think there's a lot of, well, there's not that much dialogue on this one, so that's pretty good. Okay, so I often, because these are already formatted and all that, we'll just go in here, go copy and paste from my Word document. Don't just stand there, shoot them. Shoot. We'll throw that right here. So panel 2 has why? I actually didn't like the dialogue on my script, so I'm going to rewrite it. This is the best part about lettering, is I get to rewrite on the fly, and I think that's very fun and useful for a comic writer. When I don't letter my own, I usually look at the lettering on my letterer's pages, and I'm like, I wish that I was doing this so I could just edit some of this dialogue, but then I have to kind of do it after the fact. But I see things here. We landing on top of the barn. Why are we landing on top of the barn? Seems simple enough. And And she says, I'll just take this little box here that I've already made. We need reinforcements if we are to improve the odds of survival. I'll just put that, I guess, I don't know. That doesn't flow. So the interesting part about the lettering and just like where they're at as characters, like there's this. I don't really want this to flow up to here and then down to here. That's not going to look very good, I think. So even though I'm going to have to cross the body on this, I think the story flows better this way, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Those are the types of decisions we got to make. And then I'll have to have one more. I suggest tightening your grip around me, says the Clockwork Girl. Whoops. It's a weird. And whoops, I don't want that. We'll have one more here. Don't worry, I am made of metal. It won't come across improper as I cannot feel your grip. Your touch. It was not very the reason I changed that is because it was not very descriptive there. So I didn't clearly communicate what I was trying to say. But I am now. So yes, don't worry, I am made of metal. Your touch won't come across as improper as I cannot feel your grip. And then I will probably go Crash. And I'll use a different font for Crash here. How about this? Crash. I'll create outlines on that. Do I want it to be black? I think I want it yellow. There we go. Crash. Okay, and what I like to do to make the fonts a little more fun for these like little effects is I like to stretch them. Crash. Kind of move them a little bit. Maybe I'll stretch the bottom here. Maybe I'll stretch both for the H. Crash. There we go. That'll look great. Right there. And that's how I make my little sound effects. You can get pretty creative with the sound effects. I do them kind of simple because I'm not that good about it, but I also think simple is typically better. I don't want to step on the art so much. I think that keeping the art as the art is the most important part here. All right, so Bruce says, I enjoy Dynamite Thor because he's a goofy power, and as a result, it's a lighter book. Agreed. That was why I wanted to make the book in the first place. It was interesting to see him fighting a serious guy with the same powers. Really want to know the guy's backstory. I'm bummed there is no book 3. Yeah, there's a plan. There was a plan development, and I can't do that right now. But I don't know. So we'll see how this goes, and we'll see if we can get the artist back. If we can't get the artist back, then I'll just and it's successful. I will make I'll try to make a second volume of it, with a different artist, and I probably won't label it volume 2, but kind of start from quote scratch, and make it its own thing. But yeah, I wanted to set up a villain. I like to set up things both with the story in mind and with a recurring, I guess, ongoing series in mind also. So I try to do both. And so what I wanted with the villain in issue number 2 of Dynamite Thor, because the first issue, very much we had a clear ending, which I won't spoil for people who haven't read it. But there was a very clear ending where I wasn't going to be able to bring back what was going on in issue number 1. For issue number 2, I wanted to set up like, the rogues gallery, right? So I have to make it so the guy at least survives. So, and he's a very interesting character in that he really is Dynamite Thor's foil in every single way, from his powers to just like the fact that they're both dealing with explosives in a way. Dynamite Thor blows things up as in his life, and the other guy blows things up in his life too. And that's why I'll put up the cover image for this. It's pretty fun. And this is the cover image for what's going to be issue number 2 here. And as you see, how come it's not coming up big? I want it bigger. I'll make it bigger. Let me. Cool. Okay, here it is. All right. As you see, they're kind of pointing to each other this is a meme. If you guys are not familiar with the meme, it's Spider-Man pointing at himself. Yeah, there you go. You found it. So we definitely want to ape that meme. That's why we have the white van in the background with the red, and that's the juxtaposition of the foil characters doing this. And I love referencing memes if I can, because it's pretty fun. So this will be the cover, and in this issue, Dynamite Thor meets up with or I guess he doesn't meet up with, but he goes on a mission to deal with a man who has the same powers as him, but he is an Iranian terrorist. So they fight a battle of explosives. Yeah, you like that joke? I'm glad. So the big joke is he's a suicide bomber with experience. I thought that was so funny. So that's going to end up being it'll be the interior cover. I have the cover for this book, guys. I've leveled up so much in who I worked with that you're not even going to believe it. I haven't announced it yet, and I'm going to announce it next year. I'm going to hold on. I've been holding off on telling people who did the cover for this, the full book. But it's somebody who's out of control, who is one of my heroes in the comic industry. Big name. So it's going to be very exciting to release this with a cover from one of my comic heroes, basically. So I'll leave you to speculate with who that might be. Cool. Let me get back to lettering this issue number, or this page number 11. All right. So that's pretty easy. I laid out the dialogue pretty easily here, and then we will go through and make our little bubbles. And I need to put these on balloon. Are we landing on top of the barn? Do. Very bad podcast today. I'm sorry. I have to concentrate a little bit on some of these tasks. So then I lock the lettering and I grab all of these. Because so what I like to do is I change it so I don't know what the technical term for this is, but the stroke is above the fill originally. And then the fill then goes above the stroke when I move that. And it just makes the line a little cleaner and smaller. So it kind of fades away into the art a little bit more. And the art is faded on this. I've got an opacity on it so that it's just in the background, and I'm looking at these a little more clearly for my lettering process. This is not what it looks like on the final. I show the final. Let's see. Show a final page, like the one I just did. The actual colors are a lot more vibrant than what I'm showing. There we go. Yeah, so I mean, my colors did a really vibrant job. I really like bright colors. I think there is a, in general, and this happens in books too, with the covers and all that, but I think there's a general towards dark colors in comic books that is overdone, and that sort of dark feeling where everything's kind of muted and layers in together in these purples and blues and all that gets done so much that like I really just like wanted something bright, especially with a concept like a little automaton girl who's really into dancing. I wanted to do something on that level. But if you look at Flying Sparks, the colors are very bright also. I really like bright colors. I'd rather look at, I think it's better. It just makes my eyes happier than when I'm looking at something dingy and muted. Gonna hold off saying out of control. Is it John Malin again? I can't say John Malin is one of my heroes in the comic industry. I'm sorry about that. I read of John Malin's work. I've actually read it quite a bit. I've read his run on, I believe it was Cable or X-Force or whatever it was labeled at the time. And I thought it was okay. His art was okay. The storyline on top of that art was so bad it was nearly unreadable. I don't know who wrote it, so sorry if you wrote it and you're out there. And then I read Jawbreakers of Lost Souls, which I feel like the art actually took a downgrade because he didn't clearly communicate what was going on in a lot of panels, and so I would see some things and I'd have to like turn a couple pages, read a couple pages ahead, and then go back and then reread some of the panels to like try to figure out what was going on. And you might call that a scripting issue, but in this case, it was definitely just the way the art was drawn just did not communicate the story. And so that was a problem with Jawbreakers Lost Souls. I should review that maybe at some point. I don't know. I think I already sold my book, so unless somebody gives me one, I won't be able to. But the writing on that was pretty bad too, of course. So I mean, it was really embarrassingly bad book. But what can you do? But no, I mean, this is like a real hero. This is a guy who is like legit, who has worked in comics for at least 40 years. Not just in comics, but like on major high profile projects for like 40 years. So it puts like those little small internet e-fame names to shame. It's going to be very exciting. And I've already done that. I've already had Graham Nolan do one of my covers. And Graham Nolan's one of my favorite artists growing up. And I think he's maintained his quality over the years. So, I mean, that was pretty cool. But I've got another of my favorites coming up here. All right. All right. So next, I get this going. We've got our opacity all good. Let's get back to our layers here and unlock our lettering. And I try to center everything. Does a pretty good job at like pre-centering everything before I even get to this, but just to nudge it a little in case. And then I start messing with the balloon textures. All right, so this one, even though it was kind of centered, it looked a little down. And what I do on these is I pull in the sides to get it a little square of a shape, so it's not as much of like a football. Actually gonna do it like this and then pull it out a little bit. Oops. There we go. And then we get a nicer balloon that way. This one's a little funky. There we go. Why are we landing on top of the barn? I'm not gonna do British accents because I can't. Sorry. This is pretty fun. So I mean, I've written steampunk, as you guys are probably aware. And I wrote a fantasy steampunk because I hadn't seen much fantasy steampunk in. I think I'm gonna move this. I like to kind of rejigger the dialogue a little bit often. I think that will look better. We need reinforcements if we were to improve the odds of survival. And since most steampunk is set in like an alternate history, from what I've read, most of it gets set in Victorian England and all that. I figured I would try my hand at doing one in Victorian England, kind of just to show that I can do whatever I want in steampunk and I can write it just as well as everything else. And so that was kind of my thought behind writing this. So I really wanted to get that in there. Does that look funky? It does. Why does this look funky? Does that look better? That looks better. Okay. And so I set about to do something different in a Victorian setting. Usually they in, again, what I've heard of steampunk, they really just like they use the big names. Like you always have like a Jack the Ripper story or a Queen Victoria story, or and that's what you end up seeing in the steampunk stuff. So I just started researching a little bit into Victorian history, and I found that basically the CIA of the time, or or MI6 of the time, if I wanted like a James Bondy type of story, was Queen Victoria's Secret Service. And so I wrote a story around an agent of Queen Victoria's Secret Service, which is our man here, who is he's more of a analyst and thinker type than he is a straight up James Bond action type, and an inventor, obviously. Your touch won't. I'm going to highlight improper because we don't want this to be lewd. Where'd my font go? Where'd my font info go? There we go. No, it's not up here. Character. I don't know. I'm not good at this program, so sorry about that. And I want bold. So that's what I did here. And that is the onus of the story. I don't remember where I put these still. Okay. Don't just stand there, shoot them. I like this one for that. We'll move these to balloon. So we want to try to make the tail point to the center of the balloon and also to the mouth as best you possibly can. Am I loud enough when I say things like that? I don't know. What happened here? Sometimes these don't work, and I don't know why. So I have to like actually reset the symbol, pull another symbol up, do it again, and then it works the next time. I don't know why it's like that sometimes, but sometimes it is. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong, and that is why it does that. See, and it worked that time. All right. And then for her dialogue is really going to dictate where his goes. I'm going to actually do a big, long tail for hers. And we'll place it there. Kind of stretch this like this. I think. Looks a little funky right now, but when you go like this, it should work. Yep. There's that. Ugh, I kind of hate that. I don't see a great way to do it, though, because if I go higher, I'm going to be blocking his face. If I go on this side, it doesn't flow quite right. And so I'm just going to leave it at that and just not be quite happy with it. This one will work out fine. Bada bing, bada boom. That one looks nice. I don't know. Maybe I'll undo this. See what our other options are. How do I ungroup? Undo add. Oops. How do I undo this one? I don't know. There's a button where it's like break object. And I think it's break something. It's called break something. Where is it? I'm bad at this. I'm sorry, guys. Let me look at the chat real quick. And maybe I'll just leave it. Yes, you are. I wonder what this was what's a reference to. Hey, Nuke San Francisco. I am lettering a book called Clockwork Dancer. It is a steampunk comic book, which is about a clockwork automaton working for Queen Victoria's Secret Service. About how loud I am. Cool. So it works out. And that is that. I think we have two more. All right. That one up there on the top, it'll be okay. It's not perfect, but whatever. If I wanted perfect, I'd pay a real letterer. That's what I'd do. What I'm trying to do, the reason I'm trying to save on cost for this, where I usually pay a letterer, is, and I do this for my short stories for my Patreon too, is I want to save on the costs. I mean, I am producing more comics than my means as a writer are allowing me to right now. That might come as a shock, as I've obviously producing a lot of comics. I think that'll go up. That's gonna be a little too close to her. Whoops. But yeah, I've basically produced too many comics, so I want to keep producing this many comics. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to save myself on costs, in order to be able to produce this many comics. And so this one, especially, my artist is actually collaborating with me. She's very awesome, not taking an upfront payment. So she's getting 50% of all the royalties after my costs. And so if I paid a letterer, the cost would go up, and the splits would be after I recoup my lettering costs. If I letter myself, then she doesn't have to incur that expense, and I can pay her a little more. So the whole point of this exercise is actually for me to pay the artist, Mary MacArthur, more per page here, which I think is important. Now, I like to take care of artists as best I can, and that's kind of my thought is I want to make sure people who work for me get rewarded as best as they possibly can. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Cool. And I am halfway through lettering Clockwork Dancer, which is pretty great. I was at page 9 before this. To be fair, page 10 really didn't have much to it, so it was pretty easy. And page 12, this is now page 12. So we just do the same thing over again. I kind of save these off to the side. I'll look at my script real quick, see what sound effects I have before I get too far into deleting things. That's not the script. I'm pulling up different scripts. And that's my dynamite Thor. Page 12's got a lot of dialogue, so I don't know that. Oh, maybe it doesn't. It's got no sound effects though, so I'll delete that. I'll delete all these. I love how the balloons look without any lettering. It's kind of interesting, huh? And then we go into this, pull the art. Why is the art not? Oh, because it's locked. Unlock. There we go. Grab my linked file. And grab my page 12. Oh my gosh. I've got this cough. It's awful. Where are the colors? Why are these grayed out? I don't know. Page 12. And it replaces itself. There we go. Now you could prep all these and just do every single page, go through, and as you see, they have, so this is neat. So in the last page, she said that she was gathering them reinforcements. Remember, she's a human automaton at this point, and he's an inventor. And so we get some cool little spider gadget automatons to come to the rescue and help them as their reinforcements in this next page. It's pretty fun stuff. And I think I'm going to letter this later because I'm at 1:30. I'm going to have to get back to actual other stuff. You thought your commentary during the best comments of the decade was funny. Thank you. I'm glad. Because I was sitting there just kind of reading those, and I can't believe we didn't realize they were in alphabetical order and not numerical order. We were so dumb. I can't even believe we did that. I mean, how many people were on the stream? We had 4 or 5 people on the stream. All of us are high intelligence people in general, and we just missed that completely. Not one of us came up with it. So funny. So yeah, that's sort of my lettering day today. I figured I'd kill 2 birds in 1 stone, get some streaming done while I was doing my lettering, tell you guys about what's going on in comics. For what's coming up, I'm going to be pretty soon. I'm going to be re-releasing Flying Sparks issue number 2, which is the middle of the first volume, on a Kindle, and then I'll be following up with issue 3 on that. And once I get to issue 3, I'll start running ads on Amazon to try to get some more folk into Flying Sparks. And then Dynamite Thor 2, like I said, just got done and out to Patreon subscribers today. So we got those out, and that was very nice. And this Clockwork Dancer is going to be released as soon as I finish lettering it. I can't believe I'm only on page 12 because I started this a little over a month ago, and I just have not sat down and lettered. That's why I'm very slow with all my key commands and things like that, because I don't do it every day. And you get better at what you do every day. That's what it comes down to. If I did this every day, I could really fly on this, like I do in writing. But I spend my time writing first, and then if I have time left over, that's when I letter. And then I always try to prioritize Patreon first. So if I have a short comic to get for Patreon subscribers, I get that lettered first, because this can come out kind of whenever. And so that's why I did that. And then so this, I don't know. I'm probably gonna wait till after that. Even if I finish it in December, I will probably wait until January to release it. It will come out on Patreon first, and then probably come out on Amazon a week or 2 later. So Patreon folk get everything first. I have another comic coming out for Patreon subscribers next month also, which will be another short comic. Let me see if I can find the. Oh, Captain Cummings says, "Hey, can I jump on?" I don't know when you said this, or if you're still here, but if you are, here's your link. I'm sorry, I would have had Captain Cummings on way earlier because I am not that interesting all by myself right here while lettering right here. That was so dumb of me. But sorry about that, Captain Cummings, if you are here. What else we got going? So that's it. So Dynamite Thor will be done. It's already done. It's already out. And I then just have to run a Kickstarter for that for the general populace. This will be out January. Issue 2 will be out. I don't know. I don't think these are going to come out quite monthly just because of the art speed. But issue 2 should be out probably like March or April maybe of this one. This is actually a 4-issue series. Like I said, I like to do 3-issue series. This one turned out to need 4 for the story. So it will be a much bigger graphic novel once it's all done and complete. And then during that time, I'll be putting Flying Sparks 4, 5, 6 up on Amazon, maybe even a 7, 8, 9. I might release the graphic novel first since I've got the Kickstarter out. Flying Sparks Volume 4, I'll need coloring for. I've got all of the line art done, but I haven't moved on to coloring yet. And I've got the Cosmic Warrior. I've got the first 2 issues of that done in line art, and the first issue is almost done in coloring on that. So those issues will start to pop out on Patreon also. And the Cosmic Warrior and Dynamite Thor and Flying Sparks are really, they make up the superhero universe of mine. I can migrate the Clockwork Dancer into my superhero universe if you think about it, because I can bring her in to our current universe. Since this is 1898, maybe she was just like sitting in a barn somewhere resting, and she shows up and starts superheroing in modern times or something like that. That could be pretty fun. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. It's very if I do my like quote Avengers not Avengers with my group, that'd be very funny. I could open it up with them discovering her, kind of like how Captain America was discovered in the iceberg. That would be a very good way to bring her into modern times, and I could keep her old book running of the olden times in Queen Victoria's age, and I could run her in modern times. That would be very fun if I got that going. So I probably shouldn't brainstorm all my like idea plans on the air, but I like doing it. It's pretty fun. This is how I come up with ideas. So if you guys ever wonder like, how does he come out with so many books all the time? That's how I just sit there and I'm like, wow, how cool would it be if I just did a Captain America thing with her? And now I really want to do it. So that might happen. But I was going to do a 3-character super team of Metagirl and Dynamite Thor and who's the other one? The Cosmic Warrior. So, and I think I was going to call it like, I was going to call the book like Triune or something like that. And that would not work with a 4-character team. I'd have to come up with a new name. So that's the deal on that. I gave Captain Cummings a link. I don't know if he's showing up or not. I might have been too late on that. And then on the book side, of course, I've got Stars Entwined. I am 61,500 words into that. And it's probably got another 4 or 5 chapters to go. So I should have that done. Got my round robin thing. Hey, there's Cummings. I'm sorry. I totally didn't see that. Oh, I got to plug in headphones now because I've got somebody like on here and it's going to make feedback noise. Hold on just a sec so I can do that. That's the brilliant part of streaming yourself is you don't have to have headphones on. Talk while I'm doing this. Talk to the people.
Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? That's all I got. I can't see what the comments are saying.
There you are. Cool. That's all you got? You just want to say hey? You can't
I'm making some sausages. What do you know about sausages?
What do I know about sausages? I like sausages.
Ooh, nice.
There's actually a butcher place not far from where I live where I actually go about once a month and I buy smoked Dakota sausages, which are a bratwurst variety. And I buy a hot dog pack, and I buy linguiça, and I buy bacon, and I buy like little breakfast sausages periodically. And then what else do I buy? They also have maple sausage, which tastes like maple syrup. So my kids love those because they taste like pancakes. And then they then they have a pesto sausage or pesto sausage tastes like meatballs almost. So so I pick up all that and I grab like a month worth of sausages and stick them in my freezer. So are you making your own?
No, I bought these at the grocery not the grocery store. We have a butcher that it's like the same thing you were explaining. These though are fantastic. They're like Parmesan garlic sausage.
Oh, that sounds good.
And so I'm gonna I cooked them in the oven for like 15 minutes. Now I'm going to sear them and then put onions and all that sort of stuff on there.
Oh yeah, let's go over to your house. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Oh man,
This is becoming the cooking stream, I guess.
the cooking stream.
I don't know. It's kind of boring watching me letter and like talk about lettering, I guess. But you know, I have to do it at some point, so I might as well like multitask. That's what I figure.
Well, it is pretty cool to actually see it done, though.
Is it? Okay. Well, I'm glad that somebody thinks so.
Well, no, I don't know. I kind of left after a while, but
See, you got bored.
well, they had an alternate. They have the there's this revolutionary like history channel that was live streaming at the same time. So I was like, what's going on over here? So
No, I lost to like some like boring history
Some
channel.
nerds.
That sucks.
you lost to the nerds.
Terrible. Ooh, is this gonna fit? Sorta. Excellent thinking, my dear. We may be able to even the odds yet. We may be able to even the odds yet. Now, where did I place my gyromatic sonic screecher? Shrieker? That's spell shriek, right? Shriek. I
Shriek?
did. Okay, cool. Gyromatic sonic shrieker, because you gotta have steampunky. You gotta have steampunky things in your steampunky thingy. Oh, by the way, so here's another thing about lettering. It's called the crossbar eye, and fonts lettering fonts for comics come with two different eyes, and you'll learn this right now. And what happens is you're supposed to use the crossbar eye only in instances where you've got the just like the eye by itself like this. But if you got a word like this, you're supposed to not use the crossbar eye. And this is how you can tell a lot of amateur letterers, because they don't learn this right away. And so once you spot that, you know that somebody doesn't know what they're doing. So you go like that, and I don't know why I know why, it just kind of looks cleaner when it's in a word like that. And when it's separate, you need kind of bigger space between the words when it's by itself. And that's why that's done. So now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Oh yeah, and if you don't know, now you know. Hello.
Is that Mrs. Cummings?
Oh. Yeah.
Can we talk to Mrs. Cummings?
I don't think she wants to talk.
Oh. Well, at least she's not like ditching me for a history channel. Jeez.
Not the History Channel.
Right.
About aliens.
This is way later.
Or Front Story.
It's way less exciting, is what you're telling me.
I can't believe the punts, well, I can't believe that, but I can't believe the History Channel like has people like Chumley on there. Like, what the hell is going on?
They do that because it gets better ratings than like actual history, because it's boring.
I mean, the Pawn Stars are all right. I'll say all right. I won't say I like them. I don't hate them. But like, when you just want to watch a good history thing, and you turn it there and it's the Pawn Stars all day, you're not just happy. You're not going to be
That's
happy.
true. All right. I'm going to be happy with this page. I love this comic. Just saying. I'm spoiling the entire comics and nobody's going to buy it, though. That's what sucks. Does it matter? I don't know. I don't know. I'm actually like, what do you think about that? Like, I'm like not a person who's concerned about piracy or anything like that, or like, you know, hiding my ideas or anything like that, because I just think like, I don't know, if somebody's going to tune in and to watch me letter, I mean, they're probably going to pick up my book. and it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, the only people that really care about like piracy are people that like they're not making enough money doing what they're doing. In the first
Right.
place. Because if piracy is a problem, it's because you're making too much money.
Right.
It's very
right.
what you're doing is way too popular.
Right. That's what I figure. And I also figure, yeah, like I said, I mean, like I figure people here who are going to try to read my comics for the story. I mean, you can go through and probably go through several streams and piece this entire story together. But if you're going to do that to read my comic, I mean, there's a lot easier ways to read my comic, you know?
Yeah, it's just like Ed Pisker's like been drawing his entire comic on live stream, and it's like if you're that dedicated to watching his live streams, you're probably buying the book.
Right.
Like,
good point.
You're just going to watch hours upon hours of live streams just so you can steal the story.
Right. That would be absurd. I'm sure there's somebody cheap enough out there to actually do that, though.
Yeah, except your time's more valuable than like $5.
Is it?
I mean, $5 is $5, but
yeah. This is a really tight balloon, like space for the balloon. I don't like this. Maybe I'll go like this. That looks a little better. Cool. Now where? I don't know. So what are you up to? Are you done with school now? Have you finished your last finals? Or is it next week?
No, my finals are on Monday. But
so you got the whole weekend to just screw around.
It's one of those finals where you just go in and they give you like keywords, and you're supposed to write like 4 sentences about all of them.
Oh, okay.
And it's for polls.
So you're not super worried about it?
No. And in German, which...
Oh, do you know what?
I'm going to do as good as I'm going to... What's that?
Screwed up all the lettering. I'm going to have to redo a bunch of this.
Did you put all the wrong stuff on the wrong page?
No, it's been so long since I did my this book that I forgot that in order to signify that she's a robot talking, I did this for her dialogue. Oh man, it's your boy John coughing again.
Coughing it up. That's trademark. You're gonna get sued.
Is it? I thought I trademarked
it. Trademark a cough.
You never know these days. There's that lady who tried to trademark. She tried to trademark some word, and I can't remember what it was. And it was like, it's like a word like used. I don't know. It's like trademark the word romance or something like that. It was totally ridiculous.
It's like you can't trademark something that's common. What is that? Maybe like if it was like, because you could, if you designed it like romance or whatever, but it was like a designed lettering, you could trademark that, right?
Right.
But not like just like the word. Or am I wrong on that? I'm not sure how that works.
I think you're right on that. All right, so let me go to page 11 real quick. I'm so annoyed with myself because I don't want the TIFF. But some lady tried to do that. I forget which word it was, but it started started an uproar in the romance writing community, and everybody like basically lynched this person on the internet. But
well, you remember when the Fine Bros like tried to like copyright reaction videos?
Who did that?
The Fine Bros, like way
Did
back
they
in the
really?
day. It
Nice.
was probably like 2014 or something. It was a while.
I gotta delete all these. Gosh dang it.
That's
No,
back when
I must
people
have
like to
missed that.
watch people watch stuff.
That still happens. I mean, like, I don't know. That's why
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
people do review videos and they watch those.
That's true.
I
But
do
like
review videos.
when you watch like trailer videos.
Yeah, those are so. I don't understand that either, to be honest.
I mean, it's kind of weird.
I need to make these more
Oh, right.
square.
I'm gonna have to go because I need both hands.
That was fast.
Later.
All right. Well, I'll go too then, and we'll end the stream here because I have to just fix all these pages I already did, and I'm very upset about myself for doing this. So, all right, everybody, like, subscribe, do your thing. Thank you for coming and watching me letter for an hour. I think that's very nice of you. I do. And yeah, have a good weekend, everybody. I'm going to a football game this weekend. Can you believe that? I'm going to a football game. Who are they playing? They're playing. Oh, it's gonna be a trash game. They're playing the Falcons. This is auto win. Jeez. Trash game. No wonder they gave me tickets.
Which game is it?
49ers Falcons.
What happened to the Falcons?
They just fell apart.
There's like years where they're like fantastic and Super Bowl worthy, and then most of the time they're like trash.
Yeah, search me. I have no idea. But this year they're trash. So it's just gonna be an automatic victory for the red and gold. Oh well. That's okay. All fun anyway. All right, guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I will talk to you soon, and hope you learned something or enjoyed it or whatever. Peace.